imagine a future where you decide you're going to build up a small-scale warehouse or manufacturing or retail store operation. Maybe you sell creams, maybe you sell powders, maybe you sell paintings, any number of things. And you need a way to streamline the process from the start to the end, from when you make the product or even have it shipped into you, to holding the product there so that people can actually view it either online or wherever, and then you want to actually sell the product to other individuals. And you decide that even with all that we have with AI and its ability to produce all kinds of capabilities for us, that at the level you're at where you're starting off with very little capital, very little income, and you just want to get something off the ground, then you need something that can keep pace with what the major players do, but at the same time allows you to run more as a guerrilla operation, should we say. And one of the ways to do that is through barcode scanning. Barcode scanning, for all the scenarios that I just described, is one of the ways to streamline and significantly automate the things that you're trying to do. And so that's what I am going to cover today, barcode scanning in Linux. Why do we choose Linux? Well, Linux is a free operating system. That's what I'm using right now, right? If you look at some of my previous videos, it don't look like this. That's because you can reskin Linux. You can make it look different ways. Today, I chose to make Linux look traditional. I went with the traditional route. In my other videos, you see me using Linux where you got all these floating windows and all this kind of stuff, and it looks great, and I like that. But sometimes, especially when I'm doing the coding side of it, I like to deal with it much more in a structured, traditional way, because that allows you to work through your processes in a much more structured way. So, and by the way, this is Sybil AI, and it does many great things. You can even do face swaps where you swap your face out. And so basically what we have here is where I was able to pick up a font from Google Fonts, right? So Google Fonts allows you to basically get any number of fonts onto your system, and this has replaced what was previously called true type fonts on the Microsoft Windows side of things, right? You can get these open source fonts that are available now that allow you to have great typography, great character in terms of the way that you present information in a document, on a website, or in a graphics composition. But, surprise to me, you could also get barcode fonts on here. And when you see a font that you like, right, then you can choose Get the Font, and you can download the font. And once you download the font, you can install it. And so on a Linux system, right, you can extract this. It comes down as a zip file. And, you could say Open with Fonts. I've already installed this, but if it wasn't installed, this would be highlighted blue, and you could click on it, and it would install the font into the system. Once it's installed, right, in this case a barcode font, once it's installed, then you're able to use that in all the applications that deal with fonts. So I have this, by the way, you have to watch the previous video to understand how we got to this point in this discussion. But we started out with a basic window, right? We started out with a basic window, and then we move on to something that has a entry field, so that if I type in some data and I press the enter key, it shows up here, right? And so I'm going to scan some barcodes, and if you can hear the beep sound, that's the rate of speed that this is able to pick up. You'll notice that it does a very good job of taking in the barcodes and showing them on the screen And so that's a very good version 1 implementation, and that's covered in the previous video, right? But what we want to do is we want to move this to the next stage. And so that's what these codes represent here. Basically, I have the script here, or the script template called configure.ac, that assists with defining the overall build process for this program. And then I have makefile.am that deals with the source code in terms of what source code goes where, and the sequence in which to build it so that the final result is a scanner application. The application itself is built in with GTKMM version 4, and I use a program called DevHelp to get the technical documentation. DevHelp does a great job of providing an index. Most of the time I use the class index to get to where I want to get to, but DevHelp is a very good program for all intents and purposes, and it integrates everything I'm describing, by the way, is free and integrates natively with Linux. And so this is the Linux software developer experience when it comes to building desktop applications and other applications on the system, including web applications. And so DevHelp is a very useful tool for core libraries and core reference. But sometimes you need something more than a reference. You need to know the tutorial. How does it all link together? Because the technical references oftentimes will not tell you that. And that's where programming with GTKMM4 comes into play. This is actually a website. So it's referenced on the GTKMM4 website. This particular website in and of itself is referenced, and it gives you the tutorial information, but it's not in this document form. So I used LibreOffice, which is free and available on Linux, to take the website, and I spent a couple of hours putting together a PDF, a version of this document so that I could export it out to PDF. See, you click this button, you can export whatever you have put together here to PDF form, right? And so you can actually access this PDF version. I uploaded it to this web address here, right? And so this is the PDF. And so again, you can put this on a phone, tablet, other computer, multiple computers. You can print it out. The version that I published in June of 2024, it was 921 pages. This one is 561 pages. So I put a little bit more effort into this one to get it more streamlined, to trim down all the excess, and I reformatted some of the pages so that they fit on even page boundaries. That is, I wanted chapter 3 to start on its own page rather than chapter 3 on the same page as chapter 2, right? So chapter 3 would previously be here. So I spent hours making simple tweaks like that so that as a document it flowed better, right? And so the PDF again is available to anyone that would like to use it. So this is the actual source code for the program. It's written in C++, and this is the application. This grounds and roots the program with the overall system so that when the program is launched, right, this starts it up, and this has all the prerequisites that define how this program integrates with what's called the Gnome Desktop. That's what all of this, with the different menus and the different visual aspects, that's the Gnome Desktop. And so then you take your application instance. The application is now registered with the desktop, and you ask the application to make a window and then run what's called the message loop. And so once that is done, then the main window is ready to do its thing. By the way, this is the barcode record, and I explained it in more detail in the previous video. Each barcode that's scanned, the data is captured in a barcode record instance. So Then I have the main window. In this version, it derives from application windows so that it is able to take advantage of different modifications made to the configuration of the application, right? So you can write out this application code in much more detail, adding different properties such as how it handles integration with the main menu, how it deals with workspaces, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I wanted to leave open the door for that level of integration. And these are the declarations of the different variables. These variables, they are the layout elements that determine where elements go on the screen. And it does that in a very loose way, not in a very fixed, rigid way, because the screen resolution I'm on right now is 1080p, which is 1920 by 1080. But I could easily be on a 4K screen. I could be on a 8K screen. So somewhere down the line in the future, the screen may change, and you don't want to build the application for just one rigid screen resolution. So that's what this does, is it helps lay out the elements in a general way. So that will be seen more clearly once I compile this and we run it. Then I have the text field that this is where the barcode actually gets scanned into. So it gets scanned into this, right? And this is just a label to tell you that, oh, look, this is a barcode. And then all the completed scans in this version, once I accumulate up to 10 barcodes, they're going to go into a container. And then the scans that are in progress, they show up here in this column view. And so it shows the sequence of barcodes, right, as you're scanning them. And then to make this actually work, right, we don't inject the data from the barcode field directly into the barcode column view. We link these two together through a barcode list. So this is where all the barcodes are held in memory, in RAM. And all the barcodes are held here, and then a barcode record is produced, and it is the barcode record that is affiliated with the column view, right? And so the barcode list is going to produce a barcode record, and then that barcode record is affiliated with the column view. That way we know what the barcode value is if we ever decide to pull the barcode value out of the view itself. And then we have the signals. These are the events in a different parlance. These are the actions that occur in real time, right? So this is what's called a signal factory. It's going to help us manage a group of signals together. And so this one, when the barcode view is first set up, right, then this is the signal that is triggered, and then it's also triggered whenever that view changes. When the barcode field where the barcode is scanned into, when it detects an enter key, then an activate event occurs, and then this is the function definitions for these events. So again, that's described in more detail in a previous video. I just wanted to recap it here briefly. And so let's fast forward now. So I've made quite a few changes since the last video, and what I want to do is I want to bring focus in. So that all of this sets up the layout. So the layout has changed slightly. And so I've introduced more elements to the layout, and I did not change the signals, but I did refine them a bit. And I spent most of the time on barcode activate, because that's where validations take place. That is also where we accumulate the barcodes into a container once they reach a limit of 10. And so that's what this is. And so I'm going to pause here for just a second so that you can take this in a little bit more. So that's basically what it does here. So one of the things that we do is we make sure that there are no duplicates. So if there are duplicates, that's what these sequences together determine. And then if all is good, then ultimately the scanned barcode is going to be added to the list that is shown on the screen. Once we reach a limit of 10, right, then what we're going to do is we're going to take all the barcodes that were scanned up to 10 and we're going to accumulate them into their own container. And then once they are accumulated to a container, there's no need to show them in the list of active scans, right? And then we wrap this up with a grab focus. Grab focus is very important, especially for duplicates, because what happens is this is programmed to just simply stop when there's a duplicate, right? By adding this, it takes whatever was scanned and it highlights it so that when you scan again, it overwrites it with the correct value. Hopefully it's the correct value the second time you scan it, but you can scan unlimited amount of times. And so we're going to demonstrate that. And this is my AS style options file that basically I use to format all of this. So to keep all this code properly formatted, which is important for Git history especially, but for being able to read the code consistently, using AS style to format and indent the code according to my specifications, this assists in doing that. And so right now we have a empty build directory, and I explained the build directory in a previous video. What I want to do here is I want to take the code that I just showed you and I want to compile it. Let's compile it fresh. So reset, and so we're going to go into scanner v01 configure, run that for a sec, and as you can see it's generating the actual build files. So it just generated them. So now that they're generated, we want to now compile all of this into a program. So we just type make, and so it's going to use the make program and the make file, which is this. This has all the instructions for compiling the program, and there's the program. So now we can run the program, and there's the program. So now let's go ahead and scan a few barcodes. And if I run into any duplicates, if I duplicate scan in this case, it's not going to allow those entries, right? So as you can see the list, there are no duplicates. There were duplicate scans that occurred, and now we're on the 10th one. So now we've accumulated it to a container. So let's move on to the next sequence. And I'm scanning this from a printout of test data, because that just makes things easier when you don't have to type it in and you're not running around looking for every barcode you can grab your hand on. But you also want to make your barcodes consistent for testing purposes. So as I go through here and I scan all of these, they accumulate into containers. The question that you should ask at this point is, what happens when I have more containers than can be shown on the screen? Well, let's go ahead and finish this one out, and let's see what that is. Okay, yep, we got a duplicate there. All right, we missed the sequence. Let's see if we get it. There's that. That was the missing sequence there. All right, and that completes a group. So as you can see, I got a scroll bar off to the side here, right? So yeah, so I basically changed the layout so that I have the entry field and I have the active scans right here on the left side, and then all completed scans or completed group of scans are on the right side. And so that's basically the update as of now, and that's what the code represents. So this is the test data. So I spent the most time on this this week. I ran into numerous difficulties. I even resorted to graphics design. I was like, okay, let me see if I can solve the problems that I was running into through graphics design. But it turned out that although I had a barcode font, and so there's the barcode font, right? I had the right barcode font, and sometimes it would scan, sometimes it wouldn't, but I had to remember my barcode basics, right? And the barcode basics essentially was that you have to put check digits in some of these barcode formats. In this particular one, an asterisk works to make this barcode work the way it's supposed to. And I found that on a Barcode website. Which I will link in the description as well as in the comments to this video. But once I got that, because I said, oh yeah, years ago I used to do that, then it all made sense, and and then it was just a matter of, okay, so let me turn this into a spreadsheet formula. So what you don't see is, let's see if I can unhide the columns. Show columns. So show the columns. So basically, you take your data value. So let's just start a new set of data values, right? And let's pretend that I cleared this all out, right? So I deleted all that out. So then I just drag on down all the way through, and just like any spreadsheet program does nowadays, it's going to automatically increment it by 1. So 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and so on, right? And it allows you to make unique barcodes. What I did with this version of the spreadsheet is I was able to widen. So I basically went and I made sure the height was about 1 inch, right? And the width of the columns, the width is about, let's see, I think I hit it at 5.2. So then when you do a print preview, you can kind of see how this looks. So this is what I'm scanning from, right? I just print it out, and this works better with a laser printer. I no longer have a laser printer, so I had to resort to an inkjet printer. The problem with inkjet printers is they can bleed, and when they bleed like that, that can throw off the barcode scanning. But I was able to compensate for that just a bit by using better paper. So I used professional photo paper, matte level photo paper to compensate for the bleeding, and that did work, and it helped out quite a bit. And so these are my little test scenarios that I have, right? So I got data all mixed up here. So when I start building more extensive validations, then this will be a good way to catch those and make the program more resilient. So that's basically it in a nutshell, and I hope you enjoyed this journey through barcode scanning, and if you have any questions, let me know.